Okay, day 195 of the cut, and we are still very much in the cut because still fatter than I really want to be right now. But what I need to remember is that we're also 23 weeks out from the meet today. And like being 23 weeks out, that still is a lot of time to get ready for the meet and to get things rolling again. But I also recognize that it is going to feel a hell of a lot shorter than it looks right now, which kind of does terrify me just a little bit. Because, like, fundamentally, on the platform, I really don't want to suck. And the idea of having a bad meet, like, I recognize that it can happen, but that is something that I want to do my damnedest to avoid. And if I can allow myself to be afraid of my meet day performance, I find that that is one of the best motivators to do my job when I am still a long ways out from the meet. Because if we're thinking about bad nerves on the platform, like if I find myself nervous in a bad way come meet day, all that tells me is that I did not do my job well enough in training to have the confidence that I'm going to be able to perform to my true abilities. So what's going to solve that nerves on the platform problem? For me, primarily, it's a matter of doing my freaking job week in and week out in training so that when I get to meet day, I know that I've left no stone unturned. And then finding that, especially right now when I do kind of feel like balls, it really is just a matter of embracing that I am afraid of sucking on the platform and then using that to ensure that I'm doing the best that I can on everything that I'm doing. So, nerves, anxiety, fear, not a bad thing if you can channel it into something productive. Anyways, 3+ day on squats, so we'll try to do good for some triples. What did I hit? Just popped up too high?
Yeah.
Yep. And with how one plate felt, pretty freaking optimistic at this point. So we're gonna do our best to keep it going. Sick. Yeah, feels pretty okay. And I think a big part of that is that fear playing into me getting my shit together with my movement prep, because I've been cranking on the shoulder range way freaking harder than I have in the last couple of months. And it's like, holy shit, I'm actually carrying the bar where I need to carry it for my low bar. And then like with low bar, the big advantage of being able to carry the bar while, lower is it's feeling way freaking easier to find the right amount of hinge into the hole today.
Chin. Better.
Gotta quit pausing. It was a rebound I needed. I think like balance-wise, when my giant ass head is back, like it forces a better hinge versus cheating away from it. Because in addition to that head pack, like another thing that I need to keep getting my shit together better with is I kind of been really hesitant when I'm hitting the hole just because like I'm not super trustful of my brace. I've kind of been like pseudo pausing soft rebound. So I just gotta commit and stop being a pansy. So belt on, we'll see if we can use it to be a little bit more assertive with that rebound here. Also 475, which should be work set number 1.
Use it. More. Chin. Good.
Woo!
Good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay.
You alright?
And that felt pretty much like how I wanted it to, although my right hip is a tiny bit sticky, which means we're just gonna jam on some fat guy 90-90s and basically like trying to get 99 position, drop the knee down so I can touch a little bit more hip IR, try to lever myself back over the hip, feel a really nice stretch here, and then do some isometrics trying to drive down the heel, drive down the knee, and I'm gonna alternate that for some holds, and expecting next set should feel a little bit more fluid. And that is telling me that in addition to doing the extra shoulder prep I have been, probably got to spend a little bit more time running hip prep too. And now, objective with this 505 is to get in that right hip a little bit better. Just 3. That's a. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yep. Good. Head. Yep. There we go.
Yeah, that felt better. I'm still going to do a little bit of extra hip touching just to make sure it stays good with the top set, but definitely happy with that improvement, and that is just confirming need to do more hip IR touching at home. Now we got top set for the day at 535, which is the most I've squatted in a little while with the state of my skinniness, so kind of nervous, but we're going to use the nerves to wake up and do not shitty. I think I'm just going to say fuck the plus just so I don't die with limited spotters. Yeah, because we both do kind of the thing where we get tight before we commit to the pick, so the bar will kind of float before we're going.
Yeah, it looks like we're picking it, but we're not. All we're doing is breathing in and it hits the bottom. Good. Drop it. 1. 2. Good. Keep the chin. 3. You good there?
Yep.
Slam the chin. Lock it.
Check.
Yeah, good.
Easy peasy. Good work.
Wow.
And you might be wondering, why would you ever want powerlifting coaching from a guy who's weak as shit right now? Well, before I started this 100 plus pounds of weight loss, I've hit over 2,000 pounds raw in 3 weight classes. But that ain't what matters for coaching, because I'm taking guys from beginner to elite. I've been a part of all-time world records, and I brought countless lifters back from career-ending injuries. I know how to make you better no matter where you're at, so if you don't know what to do with your programming, technique, or what accessories to hit for your weak points, hit that link below and join the team, because I want to give you individualized coaching every single day so that you can reach your potential.
And then on the squats themselves, like, that feels much heavier than I ever want 535 to, but at least it was freaking manageable, so we're on track. And I think I did a little bit better job staying in the quads there than previous weeks, so we are definitely running the high bar again for the secondary, 385 here, so should be a nice little feeler 4, and then we'll work our way up. I mean, last week, high bar workout was only 405, so it might not be working up that much, but we're at least gonna do our best.
Chin. Yeah. Forward. Check.
I don't like have the trust to rebound high bar yet. Like I'm really working to build the trust low bar. High bar is still scary. And I think similar plan to the rest of the secondaries this week. I will go to the 405 that we did last week. If it feels really easy, we'll go up for another jump. If it doesn't feel really easy, we'll just chug into some more reps than 4. So 4, if it's easy, then we'll go up. If it's not super easy but not deadly, we'll do more than 4. And if it feels like I'm going to die, well, we'll just do what we got to do to get 4 in. I think it's like this is showing me too that I really got to work hard on the hip rotation because the high bar, more knee travel is exposed into hard. So
Yeah.
we just got to do more flexibility work at home and we'll be fine.
Trust it. Elbows down, chin back. Much better. Chin.
Yep.
Forward.
We'll go up. Because the meat prep where I squatted 925 raw on meat day, best high bar that prep was 738. So we got a freaking long ass way to climb right here. So got 435 on the bar, which means only 303 pounds to go until PR territory. Which I mean is a little depressing to say out loud, but that just means we got to do not shitty here.
Trust it. Way better. +1. Elbows down, chin.
Yep.
Forward. Good.
I think we're going up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling like the hip rotation's still not there, but it's feeling workable-ish. So yeah, we're growing a pair and loading 465, which means plan is we're gonna try to make it look like I'm not gonna die while doing these high bar squats.
Much better. Elbows, chin. Pull it. Forward. Good shit.
Not a fan of how hard that got, but pretty okay with how it held together.
And I was like, how am I gonna help this?
Yeah, just let me die. If I die with 465, I fucking deserve it. Well, like what I was kind of thinking when I knew it was going to be hard is I was just like, don't jam yourself in a shitty position. Like, don't be in a rush. Just hold, keep where it needs to be. And kind of worked out. So I guess that means next week we got to go 500 on that sucker so we can keep inching our way closer to PR territory. And that means we got to go crank the shit out of the Bulgarians so the hips are strong enough to keep me under the bar. And what I meant by that is obviously with the high bar, like it is primarily a being able to use my quads in a squat pattern sort of issue going on. But the thing is with where my hips are going, it kind of feels like it's like a hip thing preventing me from getting into the quads as well as I could be or should be. So yeah, Bulgarians will help me to solve that problem. And this machine just feels juicy for them. So feeler set at 1, hopefully feeler set at 2, and then we'll figure out where we're going for works. What I learned last week running these on the SSB is that I am very appreciative of this machine for not only the lateral stability, but also because the empty bar is heavy as shit, so it makes it feel very, very juicy. So we'll go 2 1/4, then assess the situation. I wish I knew what this thing weighed so I could formulate a slightly better plan in terms of loading, but for now I think it is just try my best to not die with the 2 1/4. Okay on left side, so righty's turn. Thinking we're gonna toss 3 on and see how she goes, because not gonna get strong if we don't try to get strong again, you know? And realistically, by the time we get into the meat of the meat prep, should be handling 4 on this sucker, so we're gonna go for a big crank. Worst part about unilateral is after that big shot on lefty, still got to do the right side. So, moment to catch the breath, then commit. Okay with that. Gonna be feeling those butt cheeks tomorrow. That is for damn sure. And off of that, grabbing an adult-sized band so we can put the glute in glute ham raises. Band stuck to the other band, so gotta sort that out first. And with this being a pretty aggressively sized band, might get a little bit shitty, but we're gonna be okay with that for today. Wish me luck, because this is probably gonna suck. Sucked appropriately. So, I think we're gonna take another one there. And goal for this one is see if we can get the hips through a little bit better. That is so freaking hard, which is exactly what I need to get the hamstrings better at carrying through the mid-range of my deadlift. And then for top end of the deadlift, doing hypers at Eats last weekend gave me all the motivation I needed to pull the sucker out of the basement and bring her in. So we're gonna crank out some hypers after we clear off the coffee table. And the roller attachment that I got on this sucker is a little bit more aggressive feeling than the rope, so we're gonna do our best to not swing like an asshole with the 150 kilo on her. We're gonna go up. Okay, 200 kilo operation. Make it feel like my butt cheeks are gonna rip off. Shall commence. I miss this thing so freaking much. And as far as this fits into the overall program structure, if I make this stronger, back raise machine I'm doing should get stronger. If I make that stronger, stiff legs should get stronger. If I make the stiff legs stronger, my deadlift is gonna go up. So as much as this does suck at this point in the workout, we are gonna crank. Where I determine failure point or like judge RP off of on one of these is when I get to the rep where I can no longer control the eccentric, that's when it's gonna stop being productive. And it feels like I can't walk right after that, so that means it did the job. And now that the gross shit is done, well, time to buckle up and do more gross shit, but like less painful on like intensity gross and more like painful on the amount of stretch and tension I get on the sucker. Kind of gross because this pullover machine is freaking gnarly. I need to make sure I do it more often because that's a fun position. We're gonna go up. And 2 plates on the sucker. Felt like it was gonna kill me the last time I ran it, but I know that I am slightly less weak than the last time I ran this, so let's hope we don't die. You know what's gonna be good when the foot pedal's heavy? Yeah, that's good. I think we're gonna be able to take another jump. Extra plate on just one side because loading 145 is easier than loading two 25s. Praying that we can grow some lats by the end of the year so I stop getting comments that I have no lats. It's going to be hefty. I'm okay with that. And as promised, grabbing 50-pound kettlebell, so let's grow some balls while we grow our abs. To be very clear, I hate the fact that I am currently afraid of doing a jerk chair sit-up with 50 pounds, considering that I should be capable of going 100 plus. That's at least feeling promising, so good news is that all the daily ab work paying off. Which I should know based on how the squats felt, but nice to confirm it here. Gonna raise the foot thingy up a little bit because I had it too low and kind of didn't feel perfectly difficult in the bottom. Hopefully that modification doesn't kill me next set. Was kind of thinking to myself though that 50 is the heaviest kettlebell that they got in here right now, and if I'd want to progress this, like, yeah, I could go out and grab some of the bigger dumbbells to do, but then I'd have to walk a dumbbell half mile over here considering the gym is so giant and big. But what I think I'll probably do next week is, with this feeling good, I'll just grab a lighter kettlebell next week and start loading her behind the head. Or potentially add band too. I could add band as well. But very grateful that that is now almost not pathetic to do. But it's like getting less pathetic is the name of the game. And even if squat strength is still pretty sad looking right now, I know that with how strong the pitch up squats are, with how strong the Bulgarians are, like, legs are not weak. It's just that I gotta keep getting better at learning to use them when I actually am underneath the squat bar. And I think like the high bar swap, with how terrible the high bar is, like probably more so than my comp squat right now, I know for a freaking fact that if I get that high bar to come up, to be more fluid, continue working on the hip rotation so I actually can get in the legs better there, keep working on the hips with Bulgarian so I can keep myself pushed into the quads. Like, if I get that to come up, my squat is going to 100% get better. So that is going to be the biggest priority on squat day, is just putting in good solid work, chugging through reps like we did there on the high bars, and that will absolutely undoubtedly build into the low bar squat. And how do I know this? Well, every freaking time my high bar has felt like this and I get it to start kicking again, low bar starts kicking very shortly after. So am very excited to have that much improvement in the high bars in just 1 week running them. And again, like, it still feels like ass, still feels like I am very out of the groove on them, but all I got to do is just keep doing them and it is going to build back. And like, overall, so stoked with how today went, because with how I felt at the overhead press day, I was legitimately nervous that I'd have another repeat of the squat day a couple weeks ago where we couldn't even rack the fucker. And to feel that solid under 535, again, 535, very light in the big picture, but that is absolutely the best that loading range has felt in a very long time. So all we got to do now is stick out last week of this wave, keep chugging things along, make a couple more tweaks on the next wave, and then finish out the diet on the next wave, and then it's time to put food back in and have some freaking fun. So I am very excited for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. Have a good rest of your night, and I will see you in the team.